First of all, as a party, the NRM is dead. In fact, if you separated the state of Uganda from the NRM, there will be no party called NRM. NRM is like an evil creeper that is leaning on an oak, the oak being the state. So the infrastructure of the state, you know, an evil creeper, you know these plants that grow on a wall or something else? That's the state, yeah? The perimeter wall, it can grow on another tree, it can grow on a electricity pole. There are plants that you...
Yes.
If you remove that prop, it falls down. That's the NRM. You remove the state, there is no NRM. Internally, they are divided. Also, NRM lost its moral purpose to say we want to develop the country. So they have retreated to what you call a cash and carry government. Everybody is in it for what in Zenfunirawa. Then the sense of the country is lost. Museveni has grown old. He's both physically and intellectually exhausted. At the same time, he wants to keep direct control of so many nitty-gritties, and everybody now wants to use him. It's another depressing situation. So, in those circumstances, if Museveni releases 100 billion for his election, he is lucky if 10 billion is spent on the election, because people will just go to the money and eat it. And everybody the more public spirited persons are quitting elective politics. And as they withdraw, the more ruthless those who are willing to use hook and crook means, sell a house, deplete your assets, go bribe voters and win an election and then come and loot the state, are beginning, their share of representation within NRM is also increasing. So you have two sides. One is a very decadent group that has lost the moral purpose, and the other is a very angry, virulent group that is suffering from too much self-righteousness, so it cannot listen to others. And then you have a large group of Ugandans who are in the middle, you know, maybe they constitute 60% of the electorate, who will not show up to vote because they are apathetic or they are in disagreement with both sides. And this middle, for some strange reason, has not found, I would call this a dormant volcano, or I would call it social dynamite, but it has lacked a spark, it has lacked a leadership to catalyze it, to come to become the pivot of our politics. I think that the two extremes tend to attract people. The other ones are looters, these are grievance driven. So the two are fighting on the extremes, but the middle has withdrawn. And I think that's the tragedy of Uganda. So what we are likely to see in the next election is a very, very low voter turnout. Let me say it reaches 40%. Museveni will get 55% of the 40%, which is about 27% of the registered voters. And Bobi Wine maybe gets 40 or 38%, or whoever will be running there of that. So you have a very narrow minority running the country because the middle has withdrawn. So the only thing you can pray for is that a third force emerges, or a third